Hello, my name is Masauko Chipembere Jr. I'm a musician. My family comes from Malawi in southern Africa, which is a very small country near Mozambique, Zambia, and Tanzania. As a musician, I spend most of my time touring, but these days I actually live a lot of my life in Costa Rica.
Talendira, talendira, tikukonda talendira, tala, 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 talendira, talendira, tikukonda talendira, tala, 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 tala.
Roque is the musician I've worked the most with here in Costa Rica. He's from Cuba and has a very unique approach to songwriting. One of the things I love about Roque is that he grew up with a lot of African culture in Cuba. Many of the black people in Cuba have roots in Congo. People from Malawi actually migrated south from the Congo hundreds of years ago. So there are direct links between Cuban music and Malawian music via Congo. Another artist I work with a lot in Costa Rica is Huba Watson. Huba is a rapper, a reggae artist, and a spiritual person who cares a lot about Africa and the consciousness of Marcus Garvey. We've had the opportunity to travel to Mexico on tour together, where we played at the Oyencan Festival. Oyencan is a festival that brings together artists from Latin America, the Caribbean, Africa, and what was so amazing is we got to go there representing Costa Rica, and it was a unique experience taking a Costa Rican band there. It's not something that had happened before, and I think all of the artists that went with me from Costa Rica to Mexico learned a lot. We found out that there's a large brewing consciousness about African history and African music growing in Latin America. And it was great to be part of that, and we hope to continue being part of that dialogue all through Latin America.
Su voz, también su color. Aunque se equivoca no comete error. No se adicta al drama, tampoco al terror. Con un cuerpo hermoso, few eyes to explore. A cuatro paredes when we lock the doors. What happens there stays indoors. For me she there, not a bag of words. We took her time so it makes it work. La enfermera del doctor, she's my night nurse. Su comida me hace sentir mejor. Ella en la oficina, cocina o comedor, tantas cualidades y tanto honor. Ella es mi refugio, fuente de inspiración, sus brazos, mi capullo dice I wanna live vacation. Ella es mi refugio, real y lo intuyo, sus brazos. Mi capullo dice I wanna live vacation.
Probably the biggest surprise I've had so far in my time in Costa Rica was meeting Tiamike Mkantama, who happens to be from Malawi, Africa, just like me. His wife, Pamela, is a Costa Rican, just like my wife, Natasha, is a Costa Rican. And so, as two Malawians married to Costa Rican women, it is just the greatest of coincidences, or let's just say it's a blessing from the ancestors, that we both happen to be guitar players and singers, and we've been able to work together. Tiamike is Baha'i, which has been very interesting for me because he's taken me into his Baha'i gatherings, and I've learned a lot from seeing the way the Baha'i come together and believe in God and spirituality. Baha'i consciousness is very open to ideas from various religions, and I believe in the idea that there is one God, and all of us may call that God by different names, but we are all God's children, and we are all part of one energy that is God's energy. This is a piece of a song by Tiamike called Mulungu Wanga, which basically means, my God. In my opinion, there's a lot of African consciousness in the music world in Costa Rica. You find it in the work of artists like Manuel Manestel, who keeps alive the tradition started by Walter Ferguson of Costa Rican calypso, and he expands that tradition by blending it with music from other parts of Latin America, from Africa, from Haiti. And I think this is an important contribution to the whole idea of music in Costa Rica. Then you have artists from Limon, like Mike Joseph Jr. and Kawe Calypso, and they're really also extending that sound created by Walter Ferguson in Kawita. And that's that original Costa Rican sound where you hear what we call the quijungo, which is a bass instrument made with a string, which is very similar to instruments that you will find in Southern Africa. We have lots of those homemade instruments. For me, the most powerful music coming from Costa Rica is often that calypso music that started in Kawita and Limon and has spread out all over the country. And the reason for that is that it's uniquely Costa Rican. It's not like calypso you hear from Trinidad. There's a different feel to it. It's much slower and played on much more organic instruments. And I think that music has the potential to one day reach the world and touch lots of people. And it may seem surprising to Costa Ricans, but that little piece of Africa that is being kept alive there in the music that comes from Kawita has something in it that I think has the potential to reach hearts all over the world.